Hi, my name is Sai Reddy, and I'm going to answer some questions today about coronavirus and the immune system. The first question are, what are antibodies? Well, antibodies are molecules, proteins in particular, produced by our immune system. There are several different formats of antibodies. Two of the most important ones are called IgM and IgG. IgM antibodies are typically produced very early on after exposure to a pathogen, whereas the later response, which is generally more important for long-term protection, is called an IgG response. The next question is, why are antibodies important for COVID-19? Well, research suggests that a number of people who have mild symptoms or even asymptomatic have immune responses then that are likely highly specific, including potent antibodies against the virus. This is what is probably allowing them to essentially be virally infected but have no symptoms of disease. So the next question is, how can knowledge about antibodies be used to help deal with this current COVID-19 pandemic? There are certain classes of antibodies that bind to parts of the virus that would allow them to neutralize the virus from continued replication and infection in the person. These are referred to as neutralizing antibodies. Now, there's a very classical medical approach about using convalescent plasma. That's basically blood from people who have recovered or are recovering from coronavirus infection. And to transfer this plasma, which contains antibodies, into patients. One of the other possibilities is to actually take antibody sequences, which are derived from B cells from these patients, and to create synthetic monoclonal antibodies from this that are specific for coronavirus. So our last question is, what is the difference between vaccines and antibody therapy against COVID-19? A vaccine, of course, is some form of the virus in which you would inject somebody with in order to initiate their own immune response to create, importantly, antibodies themselves against the virus. So that if in future times, if they're exposed to the virus, they have antibodies and B cells that recognize the virus that allow it to clear it before any infection or symptoms emerge. Antibody therapy is different than a vaccine. We would administer these synthetic antibodies to patients that have severe infections. This administration of therapeutic antibodies then could help those certain patients recover. Longer term hope is that we develop a vaccine. But in the meantime, antibody therapy might be a short-term way to help control infection, especially from those who have the most severe symptoms. So thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best.